Hi, everyone, and happy Friday. It's Ann O'Connell here from OC Publishing, and we're about to start today's afternoon tea party. Has everybody got their cup of tea? Mm, Trying to use a different mug every day. Isn't that fun? This week, we've been celebrating indie authors all week, 4 p.m. tea time. We've been highlighting a different OC Publishing author and doing readings from their books. And we've been so lucky that some of my authors have been able to actually join us and do the readings themselves. So I feel very blessed that I have such amazing authors that I work with, and it gives me great pleasure to celebrate their accomplishments with the books that they have written. Today, we are going to be focusing on children's chapter books and highlighting one of my authors, Cindy Tingley, who writes a children's Bible story series, Lily's Adventures. And we have two books out so far in the series. We have Lily's Secret. Look how gorgeous is that cover. And again, it's a first chapter book, so it's easy reading for a first reader. We're very excited to be able to offer that as one of the genres that we publish. And the second in the series is Lily's Desert Adventure, where Lily meets Daisy, her new friend. But I'm going to let Cindy tell you a little bit more about some of the characters because Cindy is here with us today. So I'm going to bring her up, and we're going to learn a little bit more about Lily's adventures. Hi, Cindy. Welcome to our afternoon tea party celebrating indie authors.
Hello, Anne. Nice to see you again.
Yay! It's such a pleasure. We're we have launched number 2 in the Lily's Adventure series, and you are working on number 3. Is that correct?
Yes, it's almost completed.
Oh, excellent. So I'm going to say this out loud so that we actually have it out in the universe, that we will hopefully have the next in the Lily's Adventure series out sometime in 2021. Wouldn't that be exciting? I can't
That's
believe
good.
it's almost the end of 2020, but also I think many of us will be happy to see that year behind us, right?
Exactly, yes,
So tell us a
definitely.
little bit about where the idea from Lily came from, and why you're writing this series.
Well, someone recently just asked me the same question, and the answer I had for them was I was just a vehicle. Someone else was doing the writing.
Mhm.
It was very important that Lily get out into the world with her message, especially now at the time of COVID, because what Lily is all about is faith and hope and to keep your spirits up and to do whatever you need to do. And she's a very stubborn little donkey. She has a lot to learn, but when she is um, becomes part of the Holy Family, she learns very, very fast and she feels loved and content. She still has a temper, she's still got problems, like us humans, and but she's a lovable character.
And she loves carrots.
Oh, yes.
I love the character of Lily. I think that kids and adults really do relate to her struggles, especially in the beginning, when she feels inadequate to meet the demands of a very important mission that she has put in front of her. So why don't you go ahead and read a little excerpt from Lily's Secret, which is the
Okay.
book where Lily has a very, very important job to do. So I will let you share with our viewers what that job is.
Well, one day when Lily was all alone in her field, she had a visitor, and the visitor was an angel. And this angel told her that a very, very special little baby was going to be born and she would be part of this process. She was very important to his family and to see that he comes to earth. And Lily, all her life, has been told she's too little, she can't do anything, she's not strong like her brothers and sister, and she just feels so just down, I guess that's the word for it. But the angel and God have other plans for Lily, and she learns an awful lot as she grows and goes with the Holy Family. I will read a little excerpt to sort of whet your taste buds. I always knew I should listen to my heart, but wow, that's right, Lily. When we do God's will, we shine with his love, said Mary. So many have forgotten how. She bent over to pet Lily's neck. So that's why Jesus is coming. Boy, he's got a lot of stuff to teach us. Lily felt like dancing, but remembering Mary was on her back reminded herself to calm down. But Mary, some people can be so stubborn, just like my brother Max. He said he'd have to see this baby to believe it. I wonder. Lily stopped mid-sentence as a sharp, searing pain shot through her right ankle and up her leg. She stumbled. She struggled to regain her balance as she felt Mary sliding off her back. Help, Mary screamed. Joseph reached out just in time to catch her and held her tight. Lord, help us, he cried. Mary, are you all right? And the baby? Yes, Joseph, we're both fine. Thank God you were so close. Then Joseph turned to Lily and hugged the shaking little donkey. Oh, Joseph, she trembled. I wasn't paying attention and I turned my ankle. I'm so sorry, Mary. Are you okay? Yes, just a little shaken up, but we're fine. Lily, were you paying attention to what we were saying about how rocky and uneven the road ahead was? No. She hung her head as tears started burning her eyes. She shivered again, this time full of shame. Joseph ran his hand down her leg. I'm afraid you've turned your ankle badly, Lily. We'll have to keep a close eye on it. He shook his head. This is my fault, Lily. This is your first trip, and I pushed too hard. You didn't know the dangers. I'm so sorry. I don't know how you'll manage now. Lily put her weight on her foot. Please don't worry. I'm fine. But I've ruined everything. They should just get another donkey. One who can do what I can't. I'm too little and dumb. It's all my fault. She watched and waited for Joseph to tell her she was done, and he was going to take her back home. She stood in silent defeat. Okay, Lily, let's go. Joseph waved his hand. Just be careful and pay attention to the road at all times. He smiled at her and let out a deep sigh. Mary gave her a pat and wiped her tears. Let's go, little one. I know you can do it, she said. Lily nodded but couldn't speak. She looked ahead and cringed. Before her was the longest, steepest rocky hill she had ever seen. Pain shot through her like lightning. God, help me, Lily's heart cried. She took every step ever so carefully as they followed the steep pitch downward. Mary sat silently as Joseph guided Lily step by step. When they finally reached the bottom safely, they all let out a sigh of relief and a big thank you, God. After they had supper, Mary and Joseph prayed and thanked God once again. Lily curled up in a ball, wrapped her long ears around her, dropped her nose down into her chest, and hoped Joseph wouldn't see her tears when he came to check on her. Her foot hurt even more now. How will I ever finish this journey? I hurt all over, and I'm so tired. Oh, how I miss Coco. Suddenly, she heard a hoot, hoot from a high in the sky, then a bark. Lily had never heard such sounds and was terrified. She curled up even tighter, shutting her eyes and wishing Coco was there to protect her, like he always did. Lily, are you all right? She jumped at Joseph's touch. Oh, yes, I'm fine. Just fine, she fibbed, hoping he and Mary wouldn't notice her tears. She gritted her teeth together, then loosened her jaw, trying to smile. We've come a long way on our first day, haven't we, Joseph? Lily squared her thoughts and her shoulders and looked him right in the eye. I must get hold of myself, she thought, as Mary wrapped her arms around her sweet little donkey. So as in this part of the book, Lily is finding things very challenging and very hard, and she has very little faith in herself. But the more she talks with Mary and Joseph, the more she knows that with God's love and faith and determination, we can do whatever we want, no matter what our size is or our age or anything. Because as long as we have God's love, we can do it.
Those are very, very powerful messages. And it's so important, as you said, with all the challenges that everybody's facing today and at all ages. And kids have been thrown lots of curveballs and schools closing and opening and limitations. So I think this is a really important message, always, but especially during this time. So, do you have a passage that you'd like to read from Lily's Desert Adventure?
I do.
Okay,
A second.
take it away.
Well, Lily does make it to Bethlehem, and this is the second book. It's called Lily's Desert Adventure because they have to very suddenly, in the middle of the night, leave Bethlehem. So this is part of their story. Come on, precious one. We can all do this together with God's help. He chose you because you have always considered everyone else before yourself. We have to hurry as King Herod is looking for my baby boy. This is why we are surrounded by the archangels. We have nothing to fear, but we must hurry. Jesus has much to do with his life. And it's up to us, to Joseph, you, and I, to help him here on earth. Joseph took Lily's reins and started walking ahead. He was very strong and had a loving heart. Two good things to have when one is on a desert journey. Her tiny hooves again sunk into the sand, and her legs felt heavier with each step. She tried not to kick up the sand, and she knew it would be a big nuisance if she wasn't careful. If the wind came up, as it often did at night, the sand could get into her eyes, ears, and nose, too. As Lily concentrated, she could feel they were all being watched from above, and she knew the angel's presence made Mary and baby Jesus feel as light as a feather on her back. Is that because of the cross on her back? She wondered, remembering when it had appeared just before the baby Jesus was born. She also remembered how Coco and Max would come home, really donkey tired from their journeys, but she didn't feel tired at all. Maybe it's because Jesus and Mary are light, and light is love. The angels are big, mighty, and strong, and they carry love and light too. Lily smiled at the thought. Lily kept her head down to make sure she didn't stumble or fall, making sure that she planted her feet safely. There were lessons to be learned in the desert that only grown-ups and camels know, but Lily was learning now too, and would share her knowledge with the other animals. She would always be loved because she would be known as the donkey who brought baby Jesus to Egypt and to safety. He would grow up to be the most wonderful teacher of all. The dark cloak of night settled around them like a velvet cloth. Suddenly, Lily walked as steadily as she could. There were no trees or rivers in this land, just sand. The desert is a place that makes you think a lot. Often the only one you can talk to besides yourself is God, and you are left alone with your own heart thoughts.
Thank you so much, Cindy. I was just going to call you Lily.
Okay.
Lily, Cindy, I think it's kind of,
Interchangeable, yes.
exactly. I think it's a really interesting approach to the communication between the animals and the humans. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Well, a long time ago, Lily's great-grandfather was taking his owner to some place. And all of a sudden, they were coming down the road, and her great-grandfather saw this angel standing in the middle of the road. and he just stopped, and he would not take his owner any farther. And the owner, come on, there's nothing there on the road. I don't see anything. There's no reason for you to stop. And great grandfather stopped again. And then his owner, great grandfather, got very, very frustrated. And he was really, really upset with the donkey. And all of a sudden he looked up and he saw the archangel. Now, there was a language a long, long, long time ago, and it's called heart vision and heart talk. And Lily's ancestors used this many, many, many years ago, but through the years, it just stopped. People stopped, animals stopped using it. Little children, that's why little children and animals are always usually very, very close, because they know how to heart talk. They know who they can trust. They know who makes them laugh or they're protected. And I thought it was about time that heart talk and heart vision was brought back into our society because we need it.
It really needs to make a comeback. So I, for one, so appreciate that theme in the book. I believe that we can talk to animals, and so did Dr. Doolittle. So why
That's right.
don't we bring that back?
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Cindy, and for reading those beautiful excerpts from Lily's Adventures, Lily's Secret, and Lily's Desert Adventure, both available on all online retail stores. And if you're here in Halifax, available at Coles Bookstore and Halifax Shopping Centre and at Chapters Bears Lake. So get out there, get your copies, grab them in time for the Christmas holidays. And what better gift to give to a child than the gift of a book, and to support indie authors. So thanks again, Cindy. We'll sign off for now, and then we'll see you again real soon.
Bye, Anne.
Bye bye. So exciting! Again, we're day 5 now in our indie author celebration and our afternoon tea parties, and tomorrow will be our last day. So just a reminder: if this is the first video that you've watched or first broadcast that you've watched, you can go back on the Facebook page, on OC Publishing Facebook page, and watch any of the interviews and leave a comment or like or love, and you'll be entered into a draw to win an OC Publishing title of your choice, a free PDF of any OC Publishing title. So if you aren't familiar with the titles that we have, you can visit the website ocpublishing.ca and have a look. And if your name is drawn, then you'll know what uh, title that you'll want to choose. In the meantime, keep reading, keep supporting indie authors. And the way to show the love, as I keep saying, is by writing reviews and leaving them on Amazon, Goodreads, or even on Google. So hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Atlantic time, where we'll do a little recap, and then we'll also do a drawing. We'll draw 2 names, and those people will win free PDF of their choice of any OC Publishing title. So it's been a real pleasure, and thank you, Cindy, again for joining me today, and everybody who's joined me all week. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll see you again soon. Well, see you tomorrow if you're around and if you will join me. But these are all taped, so you can go back and listen to the readings at any time. So have a great day, enjoy your weekend, and happy reading. Bye for now.